Bird helps zebra break abscess. Minutes later, something terrible happens. The plains were heavy with the stillness of early noon. Heat shimmered over the cracked earth, and the air smelled faintly of dust and dry grass. Near the edge of a fading waterhole stood a young zebra, motionless except for the slow rise and fall of her ribs. Her right foreleg trembled under her weight. On her neck, just below the jawline, a dark swelling pressed against her striped skin, round, taut, and throbbing with infection. The rest of the herd grazed far off, their shapes wavering like ghosts in the distance. From there, they could not smell the rot or see the flies gathering at the wound. The zebra lowered her head, trying to graze, but the movement tugged at the swollen flesh. She winced and stepped back, her breath uneven. High above, a fork-tailed drongo circled, a small, glossy black bird with bright, intelligent eyes. It had followed the herd for weeks, darting after insects disturbed by their hooves. But today, something else drew its attention. The zebra's stillness, the smell of infection, the quiet struggle of a creature trying to stand against pain. The drongo swooped lower, landing on a dry acacia branch nearby. It tilted its head and studied her. The zebra turned slightly, the whites of her eyes showing faintly, but she did not move away. Her strength was ebbing with the heat. For several long minutes, neither creature moved. Only the wind spoke, pushing small clouds of dust across the plain. Then the bird fluttered closer, landing just a few steps from the zebra's front hooves. Its small claws pressed into the dry ground. A fly buzzed near the swelling, and the drongo snapped it midair. Then another. The zebra blinked slowly, breathing through flared nostrils. Her skin twitched, her body trying to shake away the swarm that had found her wound. The bird hopped forward again, its eyes fixed on the abscess, glistening, stretched tight, trembling with trapped pus and heat. The zebra didn't resist. Perhaps she was too tired. Perhaps she somehow sensed the bird's strange purpose. The drongo leapt, a quick black flash, and landed gently on her neck. The zebra flinched but did not run. With quick, precise pecks, the bird struck at the soft edge of the swelling. Once, twice. A low sound came from the zebra's throat, not of anger, but of release. Thick fluid burst from the wound, spilling down her shoulder in a pale line. The smell was sharp and earthy. Flies swarmed instantly, but the drongo snapped at them, driving them away. The zebra trembled, her legs nearly buckling, but the relief in her face was visible. Her jaw slackened, her breathing eased. For a brief, fragile moment, the plain seemed to hold still, as if the heat itself paused to witness a small act of mercy. The drongo fluttered back to the ground, its chest rising quickly. The zebra bent her neck, exhaling a long breath that sounded like gratitude. Only then did the first distant rumble break the silence. Low, rhythmic, and coming closer. The herd turned their heads toward the sound. But the young zebra and the small bird were still alone, unaware of what was about to reach them through the dust. The first tremor came as a faint vibration beneath the dry soil, almost like the heartbeat of the land. Then another, stronger, rhythmic, and deliberate. The drongo lifted its head sharply, feathers tight against its body. The zebra, still dazed from the relief of her wound opening, swayed slightly. Her front leg buckled, but she caught herself, breath shuddering. The air had changed. The lazy hum of insects quieted, and even the tall grass seemed to stiffen. From the west, over a ridge lined with thorn trees, came the muffled thud of paws, when slow, heavy, and sure, a lioness. Her golden shape emerged between the brush, low to the ground, shoulders rippling under a coat of dust and sunlight. Hunger was written in every measured step. She had been watching the herd since dawn, waiting for the weakest to lag behind, and now she had found her. The drongo gave a short, sharp call, not quite alarm, but enough to slice through the stillness. The zebra's head lifted, eyes wide, nostrils flaring. Pain flared again in her neck, but instinct surged stronger than weakness. She stumbled forward, trying to move toward the distant silhouettes of her herd. The lioness quickened her pace. Dust rose in thin clouds behind her paws. Her tail flicked once, twice, a hunter's rhythm. The zebra's hooves struck the ground unevenly. Each step sent a jolt through her wounded body. The pus and blood had mixed into streaks along her neck, drawing flies and the smell of vulnerability. She could hear her own heart pounding in her ears, louder than the wind. The drongo followed, swooping ahead then circling back, its sharp cries echoing across the plain. To some it was just noise, but to the zebra perhaps it was something more, a call that kept her from falling, a reminder that life was still reaching toward her. The lioness was closing the gap now, 20 meters, maybe less. Her body low, eyes fixed. Each breath from her throat came slow and steady, a rhythm of focus honed by hunger and time. The zebra stumbled again. Her leg gave out completely this time, and she crashed to her knees. A soft groan escaped her, barely audible. The bird landed beside her, hopping frantically, its wings flicking dust into the air. For a single heartbeat, the lioness paused. Her ears twitched toward the faint cry of the bird, a strange interruption to the hunt. Then, as if deciding it didn't matter, she leapt. But just as the lioness lunged, a gust of wind rolled through the plain, carrying the scent of the herd. The rest of the zebras had noticed. Dozens of hooves thundered across the earth as they came galloping back, a blur of stripes and dust and instinctive unity. The lioness hesitated. The stampede was sudden, overwhelming. She veered off, snarling, avoiding the storm of hooves. The herd circled briefly, not to fight but to protect. Their bodies formed a living barrier between her and the fallen one. The drongo took to the sky, crying again, its voice cutting through the chaos. The lioness retreated into the tall grass, tail flicking with frustration. The sound of pursuit faded, replaced by the trembling breath of the wounded zebra. She tried to stand again, her body shaking. One of the older mares approached, nudged her shoulder and stayed there, silent, steady, waiting. The herd began to move once more, slow and watchful. The drongo landed softly on her back. It stayed there as she limped forward, step by step, back toward the safety of the group. Behind them, the plains returned to quiet. Only the wind remained, whispering across the grass, carrying the scent of dust, blood, and the faint miracle of survival. Evening settled softly over the plains. The herd grazed in calm rhythm, shadows long beneath the fading sun. Among them, the young zebra moved slowly, her wound drying, her breath easier than it had been in days. The drongo stayed near, fluttering from her back to the ground, pecking at dried flies, never straying far. It was a quiet companionship, fragile, wordless, real. As night approached, a low rumble began to roll across the horizon. The wind shifted, cold and electric. The first storm of the season was coming. When the rain broke, it came hard, sheets of water, wind roaring through the grass. The herd ran for higher ground. The zebra followed, slipping in the mud, her wound reopening as she stumbled. The drongo cried above her, circling, its small body tossed by the wind. Lightning tore the sky apart, one bright flash, then darkness again. By morning, the plains were washed clean. Water pooled in the hollows and sunlight shimmered on the wet earth. The herd grazed quietly, steam rising from their coats. Near the foot of the ridge, the zebra lay still. Her body was peaceful, her stripes gleaming with rain. The drongo perched nearby, silent for a long while before taking flight, a small dark shape against the pale morning light. The storm had passed, but in its silence something gentle remained, a fleeting bond carried away on the wind.